Shell, the oil company, recently started surveying the coast off the Eastern Cape for oil and gas. This prompted outrage and protests from South Africans across the country.
Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! And if we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down!
Shell is seeking for oil. Government has given the go-ahead for Shell to use seismic exploration, which is going to have a devastating impact on ocean life.
The survey ship tows an array of air cannons. The sound from the cannons reflects off the seabed and can reveal gas or oil deposits at depths of up to 4 kilometers. Starting in December, the cannons will emit a 250 decibel explosion every 10 seconds, 24 hours a day, for a period of 4 to 5 months. Many marine scientists fear that the research will have a devastating impact on marine life. From phytoplankton to fish reproduction to marine mammals such as whales and dolphins.
Marine mammals in particular are very sensitive to these acoustic sounds. In 2016, there were similar seismic surveys, and it was noticed that in the same year, strandings of various animals were registered, including whales, humpback whales, different kinds of dolphins, turtles, and seabirds. During that time, a goose-beaked whale washed up and showed definite signs of a decompression sickness, which means that this dolphin was diving and then it was probably disturbed by something. And in this case, it would be possible that it was the sounds from the seismic surveys. So if an animal is disturbed, then it can happen that they completely lose their orientation. And if they lose their orientation in a deep dive, it can end very badly. So what can happen is that they then ascend very quickly, and through this it can come to barotraumas, or that bubbles can form in their tissues through the rapid ascent of the animal. It was very noticeable that this year was an increase in strandings, and it has been proven again and again that strandings can be linked to these seismic surveys. This was also noticed by strandings of beaked whales on the shores in Greece, and on the Canary Islands many cases were recorded.
The South African government has given Shell permission to explore for gas and oil offshore. This will be done near some of the country's most sensitive marine protected areas. A last-minute emergency application to prevent the activities was unsuccessful. The ship has already started, which led to a call for a boycott of Shell, not only in South Africa, but across Europe.
To boycott Shell would be to save our oceans.
Before I became a marine biologist, in the Eastern Cape is the only place, nature-wise, I can go to and be grounded. The Eastern Cape is extremely beautiful. We are smart enough to come up with better solutions. We need to be thinking of the ocean. We need to be the voice for all these creatures out here. And we all need to hold our government accountable.
Specifically, just coming out of COP26, South Africa has just committed to net zero, to reaching net zero by 2030. How is exploring for more fossil fuel reserves offshore doing anything to help us reach that net zero target by 2030?
At the COP26, they just gave the South African government like 180 billion rand to move away from fossil fuels. Yet here we are with a fossil fuel company looking for oil on our coast, exactly what they're paying us not to do.
Exploring for oil and gas in our ocean, we're saying is a direct attack on our human rights. We have just barely a month away from COP26, where our politicians, they committed to cutting down on the carbon emissions. And now all of a sudden as a country, we are now allowing and giving permission to Shell to come and explore. We cannot allow a situation whereby we are speaking on the right, but we walk on the left.
I I kind of made that dolphin yesterday night together with my son and explained him that this dolphin is just going to teach them a lesson.
I actually feel obliged to be an activist and to do something to protect our ocean. It was important to show my children that you can act and do something against injustice and not just be a bystander. We as sportsmen, water sportsmen, and simply people who want to protect nature need to show other people that there are consequences. I think there must be structural change, and that can only be done if one deals with the issues and the consequences of the action.
Protest action against Shell is growing not only in South Africa, but worldwide.
No more coal, no more oil. Keep your carbon in the soil.
There's a global campaign, Shell must fall, all over the world, calling for the end of Shell's exploitation and the way in which they go about doing it.
In South Africa, England, and in Europe, people are rising up against Shell and for the environment. Shell lost a major court case in May this year when it was ordered by the International Court of Justice in The Hague to reduce its CO2 emissions by 45% by 2030.
It is interesting to know what Shell is doing here in Africa, because Shell has become an unloved child in Europe. They have lost a court case in Holland, which has led them to move their headquarters to England. They are under enormous pressure in Europe, where policies and legislations are being tightened. That also had the effect that we are now seeing more of these oil giants in Africa. Shell is now coming here to a place where they are still welcomed with open arms.
And right now in South Africa, we're standing up and saying this is a wild coast. This is the wild coast. And we want it to remain wild, not just for us, but for everyone who gets the opportunity to see wild places. We are starting to enter a phase in our human history where we are losing wild places. But we know this, so we need to act now. We know enough to make better choices, and that choice is now.
They underestimate Amambondo tribe because we're known from the backwards that we are uneducated, we don't know things. But I agree, we are uneducated. But when it comes to land, we are the professors. That's us. How come our indigenous forest is still there? How come our ocean is still clean? Because we know those things are important and we don't even need to go to school to study that. We learn from our own parents, from the indigenous knowledge.
If 90% of the sharks and many of the other big fish are already gone, in 50 years, will there be any fish? There's no excuse for squandering the natural assets the way we have in the past. Look at the evidence. Make your decisions based on what you as an individual can do to take care of the natural world. Make better choices about what to eat or not. Use that power. Make the world a better place based on what you have the power to do.